You usually know exactly what you're in for when you sit down to tackle a really dense historical text, right?
Right, yeah, absolutely. There's a whole, a whole physical and mental ritual involved.
Exactly. You brew a dark roast coffee, you clear off your desk, maybe you get, I don't know, a notepad and a highlighter ready.
Yeah, you're mentally bracing yourself for an intellectual marathon.
Right, because you anticipate serious resistance from the material.
Right.
You are preparing to actually do the work.
Because the expectation is that you're about to navigate a really complex architecture, you
Yeah,
know?
for sure.
You're gearing up to decipher arguments, cross-reference data points, and, well, just synthesize a really heavy cognitive load.
It takes focused energy.
Hmm.
But imagine you do all that prep, you lace up your shoes, you stretch, you step right up to the starting line of that marathon,
Okay.
and you look down, and the track is just simply gone.
Just gone.
There's no road at all. There's just this pristine, endless white void.
Which is pretty much the perfect way to describe what we're looking at today.
It really is. So welcome to today's deep dive. We have a highly unusual, honestly, custom-tailored journey for you today.
Yeah, this one is definitely different.
Our mission is to extract the absolute most important nuggets of insight from a very specific digital file that you shared with us.
Right, and we should probably talk about how this file arrived on our desk.
Yeah, it came as a PDF document, and I mean, the title alone carries massive weight.
Oh, heavyweight.
It's titled My Frozen Turbulence in Kashmir, authored by Jagmohan, and it's noted specifically as a 12th edition reprint from 2019.
Which is, I mean, we have to address the elephant in the room immediately. Or, well, rather, the
Right.
complete lack of an elephant.
Right, exactly.
The totally fascinating reality of today's source material is what happens when you actually open that specific PDF.
It's the ultimate rug pull, honestly. Because this file you handed us, it consists of exactly 51 pages.
Yep, 51 pages.
And every single one of those pages is completely, utterly, just unapologetically blank.
Completely blank. I mean, not a smudge, not a page number.
Not even a stray pixel. It's pure digital nothingness.
It really is. Not a single syllable of body text survived whatever process created this file in the first place.
Right.
There's no copyright cage to verify the publisher. There's no table of contents to hint at the structure.
No introduction to set the stage. Nothing.
Nothing. The document viewer simply renders a perfectly uniform sequence of empty white space, literally iterating from page 1 all the way to page 51, and then it just ends.
Which is crazy, because in almost any other scenario, I mean, this is the part where a researcher just throws her hands up in frustration.
No, for sure. You'd just assume the file is corrupted.
Yeah, you delete it and you completely abandon the project. But, and this is important, we are not doing that today.
No, we are committing to analyzing exactly the artifact that you gave us.
Because sometimes, the container itself tells a story that's much more compelling than the contents. Or in this specific case, the absolute absence of contents.
Right. So we're going to unpack the really heavy metadata welded to this file.
And the bizarre technical mechanics of the digital shadow libraries it sailed out of, too.
No, exactly. And ultimately, we want to look at how this literal void might actually be the ultimate aha moment for your specific style of learning.
Because it really forces a brilliant exercise in structural analysis, I think.
It does, because when the actual text vanishes, we obviously can no longer rely on the author's narrative to guide us.
Right. We're forced to just step back and scrutinize the scaffolding that remains.
Yeah, because the only factual, hard data we actually possess is embedded entirely in the title and the metadata.
Let me put it this way for you. Being handed this file is like discovering this heavy, securely locked, iron-bound treasure chest, right?
Okay, I like this.
And the brass plaque on the lid is engraved with the words, "The Secrets of the Universe."
Ooh, high stakes.
Right, so you spend hours picking the lock. You finally heave the heavy lid open, expecting gold or ancient scrolls, and it is just filled with 51 sheets of invisible ink.
That is exactly what this feels like. So let's actually look closely at that brass plaque for a second.
Yeah, let's do it.
The title provided in the file name is My Frozen Turbulence in Kashmir. Linguistically, those words, like frozen turbulence, they suggest a deeply complex, historically fraught, and highly emotionally charged subject matter.
They really do.
Then we have the author, Jagmohan. And critically, from an archival standpoint, the file explicitly specifies this is a 12th edition reprint 2019.
Okay, wait. I need to hit the pause button right here for a second.
Sure.
Just for a very important disclaimer for you listening. Given that specific title and the geographical region mentioned, this file is clearly pointing toward a heavily debated, politically charged topic.
Oh, absolutely. It's a very complex issue.
So we want to be absolutely 100% clear with you right now. We are maintaining strict impartiality today. We are taking no political sides, left, right, or center. We're not endorsing the viewpoints of the original physical book, whatever they may actually be, nor are we making any commentary on the historical or current situation in the region.
Right. Our focus is purely on the structural, technical reality of this digital artifact you provided.
Exactly. We are simply analyzing the phenomenon of this file's existence.
And honestly, the phenomenon of its existence is entirely tied to the sheer weight of that metadata compared to the absolute lightness of the document itself.
Yeah, that contrast is wild.
Just consider what a 12th edition actually means in the publishing world. It implies a text that has endured significant time and scrutiny.
Right, it's not some obscure self-published zine.
Exactly. It implies ongoing consumer demand, multiple rounds of revisions, and a real legacy of being read, cited, and debated over years or even decades.
Decades of momentum.
And all of that historical momentum leads up to a 2019 reprint. The metadata promises a monumental piece of human thought.
It promises a 7-course feast, and then it serves you a spectacularly clean, completely empty plate.
A completely empty plate.
But, we know how you operate. You are always looking for a shortcut to being well-informed. You aggressively value your time.
Which is smart.
It is. So I have to point out the extreme irony here. Reading 51 completely blank pages is the fastest, most efficient reading assignment you are going to get all year.
Oh, without a doubt.
You just crushed a massive 12th edition historical text in about 4 seconds.
Congratulations. But, that irony actually highlights a very real vulnerability in how we interact with modern digital archives.
Oh, so?
Well, if the metadata is so dense and the file is so empty, we have to ask how the specific artifact actually found its way to your hard drive in the first place.
Right. How did it get to you?
Which brings us directly to the breadcrumbs left in the source URLs that are embedded right there in the file name.
Oh, yeah, I saw those. It was zlibrary.sk, onelib.sk, z.slib.sk, and then it was followed by the tag 1.pdf.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, so we have a weighty historical title and a 12th edition tag. But if the PDF is completely empty, how did you even get your hands on it?
That's the real question.
Like, why didn't a librarian or a site admin notice that the book was totally blank before putting it on a shelf?
Because there is no shelf, and there is no human librarian.
Wait, really?
Really? Those URLs point to massive decentralized digital repositories. We usually refer to them as shadow libraries.
Shadow libraries, okay.
Yeah, and these ecosystems operate on a completely different paradigm than, say, a university archive or your local public library.
How are they different?
In a traditional setting, a human being physically inspects the binding, they check the print quality, and they manually catalog the book.
Right, there's quality control.
Exactly. But shadow libraries are chaotic, user-driven, automated networks. Millions of digital files are scraped, uploaded, and mirrored across different global servers constantly.
Wait, I need to stop you there. Are you saying these global shadow libraries just blindly copy and host files without any human quality control at all?
Pretty much, yeah.
So if I create a 500-page PDF that just repeats the word banana over and over, or in this specific case, a file with literally nothing in it, the system will just accept it and mirror it globally.
Essentially, yes. Because the system validates the file based on mathematical and structural parameters, not semantic meaning.
It doesn't care what's inside.
Right. The algorithm powering a shadow library doesn't have eyes. It doesn't actually read the book. It just uses automated scripts to check things like file size, format integrity, and metadata tags.
But hold on, how does a completely blank document pass a format integrity check? Shouldn't a blank file register as 0 bytes and just trigger an error?
That's a great question, but no. A blank PDF is not actually empty data.
It isn't.
No, to a computer, those 51 blank pages are actually a pretty complex set of rendering instructions.
Rendering instructions for white space.
Yes. The file contains a PDF header. It has a body that defines the exact physical dimensions of 51 distinct pages, instructions to render those pages with a solid white background, and a cross-reference table that tells the software how to navigate the file.
Wow.
Yeah. All of that structural code takes up actual space. So the system might see, say, a 2 MB file tagged with the title, My Frozen Turbulence in Kashmir 12th Edition, and authored by Jagmohan.
So it looks totally legit to the computer.
Exactly. To the machine, all the structural boxes are checked. The transfer of knowledge appears successful.
Oh my gosh, it is literally the digital equivalent of a ghost ship.
A ghost ship. I love that.
Think about the journey of this file. People out there are actively searching for this specific, dense historical text. They find the listing on one of these shadow libraries.
Right.
They click download. The file travels through like underwater fiber optic cables. It arrives on their hard drive, and they proudly drag it into their carefully organized research folder.
Yes.
They are seeding it. They're sharing it around the world. And nobody realizes that there is absolutely no cargo in the hold. There's no one steering the ship.
The ghost ship analogy perfectly captures the algorithmic blindness at play here. It really does.
It's wild.
And it gets worse because shadow libraries rely heavily on user engagement metrics.
Oh no. So it's popular.
Yes. When a user searches for that title and clicks download, the system registers a successful interaction. The popularity algorithm then pushes that specific file higher in the search results for the very next user.
So the void is actually gaining authority.
Yes.
Every time someone is tricked by the metadata and downloads this empty file, the system just assumes it's a highly valuable resource and recommends it to more people.
The system actively validates and promotes the file based entirely on its label. It is completely blind to the fact that the actual human thought has been entirely stripped away.
That is so unsettling.
It is. We have basically developed a digital culture where we implicitly trust the container. If a PDF is titled something authoritative, has a plausible file size, and opens cleanly in our reader without crashing, we just assume the knowledge has been successfully transferred to our possession.
It's the total illusion of possessing knowledge. It reminds me, you know those interior design trends where people buy physical books by the yard just to match their wallpaper?
Oh yeah, the aesthetic bookshelves.
Exactly. They curate this wall of beautiful leather-bound spines for their living room, but all the pages inside are either glued together or just completely blank.
Right.
You get the aesthetic of being an intellectual without actually absorbing any of the information.
And that illusion of possession is evident right in the file name you provided us. Notice that little 1 at the very end. It said 1.pdf.
Oh, right. The standard operating system duplicate tag.
Typically, when your operating system adds a 1 to a file, it means you downloaded it, and then perhaps forgetting you already had it or misplacing it in your messy downloads folder, you went back to the shadow library and downloaded it a second time.
Which proves the point perfectly. We just hoard digital files.
We really do.
We grab them, we let them sit in our folders, feeling totally secure that we have captured the information. We don't even open them to verify the content.
No, we just trust the file name.
We are actively curating massive personal libraries of ghost ships.
It's true. And from an archival and historical standpoint, this silent failure is deeply concerning.
Yeah, I bet.
Digital preservation is often championed as the ultimate method to save human history from, physical decay, fires, or floods.
Right, digitize everything is the mantra.
But what happens when the digitization process fails silently? Let's say a physical copy of a book is placed on an automated high-speed scanner.
Okay.
The mechanical feed slips, or the optical character recognition software glitches and fails to capture the text, but the software still successfully packages the empty images into a PDF and assigns the metadata.
The machine stamps it as done and just moves on to the next book.
Exactly. And decades from now, a digital historian searching a decentralized archive for the 12th edition of this specific text might find this highly seeded, widely distributed file.
And they open it?
They open it, and the history is simply gone. A cultural record can be just as easily lost to an empty digital container as it can to a physical fire.
Wow. That is deeply unsettling. A technical hardware glitch accidentally creates a massive philosophical puzzle about the fragility of digital memory.
It really does.
But I want to pivot the conversation away from the servers and back to you, the listener, and your everyday life.
Good idea. Let's ground this.
Because we know how you operate. You've made it very clear that while you are insanely curious and you want to learn deeply, you absolutely despise feeling overwhelmed by information overload.
Oh, which is so common.
The sheer volume of hot takes, data points and endless reading materials can just be totally paralyzing.
It really is the defining cognitive struggle of the modern era. We are bombarded with an unprecedented, frankly unnatural volume of text every single day.
Constant.
Long-form articles, dense research papers, sprawling social media threads, and endless PDF attachments. The human brain was simply not evolved to process this staggering cognitive load without fatigue.
No, not at all.
Uh-huh.
We're always looking for a way to manage that noise. And stumbling upon this specific file, it's kind of like going to a massively crowded, incredibly noisy networking event.
Oh, I hate those.
Right? Everyone is shouting their elevator pitches. The music is way too loud. Someone is trying to hand you a pamphlet every 2 feet.
You're just totally overwhelmed.
You are. So you lean against this heavy oak door, the latch gives way, you stumble backward into the room, and the door clicks shut behind you.
Yeah.
Suddenly, you are in a perfectly soundproofed, entirely empty room.
The relief of that silence is palpable.
It's amazing.
You know, the Japanese actually have a word for the physical version of this phenomenon. It's called sundoku.
Sundoku.
Yeah. It is the act of acquiring reading materials and letting them pile up in your home without ever actually reading them.
Oh, I'm definitely guilty of that.
We all are. But we do this digitally now. We download PDFs as this sort of performative act of learning, basically trying to alleviate the anxiety of not knowing something.
Ah, that makes so much sense.
Yeah, downloading the file feels like a proxy for actually putting the knowledge in our brains.
The weight of those unread files just sits there on your desktop staring at you
Yeah.
and adding to the overload.
Exactly.
But this 51-page blank document shatters that whole dynamic. It is an accidental digital sanctuary.
A sanctuary, yeah.
You clicked open this file expecting a dense historical analysis. You expected to have to focus, to highlight, to cross-reference, and to synthesize.
You were bracing for the cognitive lift.
Right. And instead, the document offered you nothing. It just gave you a quiet place to rest your eyes.
Which is nice, but while the cognitive relief is very real, we shouldn't just write this off as a funny technical glitch or a passive rest stop.
Wow.
No, because knowledge is most valuable when it is actively understood and applied. Okay, true. But the challenge here is, how do you actively apply a totally blank page to your intellectual life?
Right.
Seriously, how do you weaponize a void? What is the practical takeaway from 51 pages of absolutely nothing?
Well, you use it as a powerful recurring mechanism to question your foundational assumptions about the information you consume.
Okay, break that down for me.
Sure. Just trace your own user journey with this specific file. You saw a heavy, authoritative file name. You assumed the file contained a book.
Right.
You assumed that because a massive global digital network offered it to you, the file was complete and valid.
Yeah, totally logical assumptions.
You assumed you were going to have to spend valuable time reading and deciphering it. Every single one of those assumptions was entirely logical, and yet every single one of them was fundamentally wrong.
No.
The container was authoritative, but the contents were a void.
It really is the ultimate reality check for the digital age, isn't it?
It absolutely is. It serves as this stark reminder to verify the contents before you just accept the container as truth. That's a great way to put it.
Think about how often in our professional lives or even our personal media consumption, we stress ourselves out over a mountain of required reading.
Oh, all the time.
We receive an intimidating 100-page report attached to an email, and we let the anxiety of that file completely ruin our afternoon.
Right, you dread opening it.
Only to finally open it and realize the substance of it is mostly empty corporate jargon, completely irrelevant to our actual project, or missing the core data entirely.
We do it constantly. We build up so much anticipatory anxiety over the idea of the information we need to process before we even crack the spine.
Exactly.
Or in this case, before we even double-click the icon, we just let the metadata dictate our emotional response.
Yes. So applying the lesson of the blank page means taking a breath and actively checking your sources before you allow them to overwhelm you.
To pause.
It means refusing to take the digital label at face value. It's a tangible, daily exercise in critical thinking.
Which we desperately need.
You must recognize that just because a sophisticated global system presents something to you as an authoritative fact, like a 12th edition reprint, does not mean the substance actually exists underneath the formatting.
So the void itself becomes a tool for mental pacing.
I like that.
It is not a missing historical text. It's literally a 51-page workbook on skepticism.
It perfectly illustrates the critical difference between information access and actual understanding.
Right.
You can hoard millions of PDFs on a hard drive, you can mirror them across 100 decentralized servers, but if you never actually open the files to see the blank pages inside, you haven't gained any knowledge at all.
No, you haven't.
You have simply, meticulously organized your own ignorance.
Organizing your own ignorance. Wow. That is a really heavy concept to carry forward.
It is.
As we wrap up this highly unusual deep dive, let's just look back at the bizarre terrain we just crossed today.
We covered a lot of ground.
Or lack of ground. Right. We started at the base of what looks like a massive, dense mountain of a document, the heavily titled, historically charged metadata of Jagmohan's 12th edition reprint.
Yeah.
Then we navigated the wild automated mechanics of shadow libraries like Z-Library and OneLib, uncovering how algorithms just blindly validate and distribute these ghost ships of data based on file size rather than human thought.
The ghost ships, yeah.
And finally, we arrived at the unexpected relief of a completely empty document, finding a profound cure for digital sundoku and information overload in the exact place we expected to be totally overwhelmed.
It has been a truly remarkable exercise in structural analysis.
It really has.
We found profound meaning not in the text, but in the architecture of the margins, or in this specific case when there is nothing but margins.
Nothing but margins. But
Yeah.
before we let you go, we want to leave you with one final provocative puzzle to mull over on your own.
Yes, we want you to really think about the broader implications of this digital artifact. So consider this scenario. A deeply important, controversial historical book is digitized in a massive server farm.
Okay.
That specific file is downloaded tens of thousands of times by eager students, researchers, and curious minds all over the world. But due to a silent, undetected mechanical glitch during the scan, every single one of those pages is completely blank.
Just like our file.
Exactly. Does that widely distributed file still contain history?
Ooh.
I mean, the digital metadata survived, the human intention to share the knowledge survived, the reader's desire to learn survived. Everything surrounding the book is perfectly intact except the words themselves.
Wow.
So next time you click download to learn something new, ask yourself, are you putting your faith in the label on the outside of the container, or are you actually looking for the truth hidden inside?
Sometimes you lace up your shoes, you get ready for the marathon, and you find out the track is just a white void.
Yeah.
But how you choose to run in that empty space, well, that is where the real learning happens. Until next time.